launch of Disney Plus has been huge, and now people are talking about warnings on some of the older movies. Disclaimers on movies like Dumbo, Peter Pan, and The Jungle Book say that they may contain outdated cultural depictions. Scenes and songs referring to racist segregation laws, racist caricatures, or portrayal of Black Americans, Native Americans, and Asians. But as you can imagine, the warnings are getting mixed responses. Disney movies have been studied to understand how they shape children's perceptions. And even if kids don't really verbalize it, experts say it can add to unconscious biases.
Sometimes people think, well, kids aren't even noticing that. But what's so important for people to understand is that their developing brains are seeking out that information about the cultural world that they're going to inhabit, even though they don't realize it.
Michael Barron with diversity and inclusion consulting firm Inquest thinks the disclaimer could be on more movies like Aladdin and Little Mermaid. He says there are issues that don't just deal with race and ethnicity, but they're also gender stereotypes too. He also thinks Disney could be more specific and do more than just caution its audience.
I think there's a huge opportunity there if they're going to go there to say, well, you know, here are some of the subtle messages that might be a problem. How could we even encourage discussion between adults and children around those issues?
Barron says editing out potentially inappropriate scenes isn't the answer either. He says the movies provide a learning opportunity to increase inclusion. Well, fewer young people are playing tackle football with concerns about concussions, but a new version of the sport could be a game changer. So tomorrow, we're looking at how this game is different and the efforts to expand it across the country.
As you can see looking out your window, lots of clouds, but no precip today, so it's all about the thermometer. Temperatures will fall into the lower 20s, upper teens in some spots, but we recover tomorrow. Above freezing again, 38 and partly sunny. Temperatures over the weekend, lower 40s, still in the lower 40s on Monday. Then things change after that. We'll get into that here in the next half hour. That's all for the Now Indy. The news at 6 starts right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
It was really frustrating, yeah.
If you use Uber or Lyft, you could get an unexpected charge. Call 6 investigates and covers why some riders say they were victims of vomit fraud.
I got my rights to do anything I want to do. I'm a police officer.
A deputy constable fired after this viral video. We hear from the man who recorded the clip and what he wants to happen. Plus, we ask a retired state trooper what your rights are when speaking with an officer.
Did you feel the difference today? Above freezing, milder temperatures on the way, but how patient will you need to be?
A safety concern along a major road, dozens of street lights out. We find out what the problem is and why those lights have not been fixed yet.
A Democratic state representative wants a youth movement in the State House. He's pushing to lower the age requirements for running for state office. Why he says today's age requirements are unfair. But first, and only on RTV6, if you use a ride-sharing service, we want to warn you about a charge that could pop up on your bill.
Call 6 investigates found some Indiana consumers on the hook for cleanup fees for damage they say they didn't even cause.
It's a problem we didn't even know about until an Indianapolis rider contacted us.
Our Kara Kenny is working for you to find out why this is happening and how you can protect yourself.
When you use a ride-sharing service like Uber or Lyft, you might get mud on the seat, get sick, or even spill something. Consumers say they were charged for damage they didn't make. It's a problem riders have dubbed vomit fraud. B. McLaughlin uses Lyft to get from her internship to her apartment. It's a quick 2-mile ride near Keystone at the crossing that costs about $6, but not this time.
Got a notification 2 days later saying I had been charged $100 for Lyft damages.
The Lyft driver accused B of leaving a blood stain. B is adamant it wasn't her.
I think it's just ridiculous.
You didn't bleed all over the back seat?
No, I didn't.
Okay, and so you actually noticed it when you got in, you say?
Yeah, and it didn't actually look like blood. It looked like somebody had spilled like coffee or juice or something.
When she reached out to Lyft customer service, they sided with the driver and refused to give B her money back.
So I just got no information other than the driver saying that I was their last female passenger and that's why I was being charged.
B's dad, Jim, contacted Call 6 Investigates.
I'm reaching out because I'm an enraged father.
Jim says while many people may not notice a $100 charge, he says his daughter is a broke college student.
You're guilty until proven innocent. And how do you disprove a negative? I mean, that's basically what this whole thing has been about.
B is not alone. Call 6 Investigates found hundreds of customers across the country have filed reports to several organizations, including the Better Business Bureau. This Florida man says he was charged $100 for vomiting in the back of a Lyft.
It definitely made me feel very taken advantage of. And then when Lyft just kind of shrugged it off, it just made me feel gaslit, like I'm just lying or I'm just being dramatic.
The BBB says vomit fraud complaints are on the rise. Passengers claiming Lyft and Uber drivers wrongly charge them damage fees for things like scratches, food stains, and even dog feces.
Who knows exactly when this damage occurred, who did this damage?
Tim Maniscalco with the Central Indiana BBB says ride-sharing companies need a system that's fair to consumers.
I think it's important that they do get the right person who has actually caused the damage and not accuse just anyone on maybe some flimsy evidence. But I think they should do a very thorough investigation, and before you accuse somebody and charge somebody for it, have the evidence and have the investigation done.
Lyft policy says you can be charged up to $250 for damage. Uber's website says small messes can cost you $20, vomit $40, and bodily fluid damage can cost you $150. We sent this list of questions to Lyft about B's $100 bloodstain charge, and later that day, B got an email refunding about half of the damage fee. The company says her claim was handled in accordance with Lyft policy. We take damage disputes such as these very seriously. Lyft's support team investigates each incident individually and makes a determination based on the evidence available. Lyft says evidence can include statements from all people involved, photographs, and prior feedback.
It is not the driver's obligation to clean up after passengers.
B and Jim McLaughlin say ride-sharing companies need to better investigate damage claims before charging customers, even if it means putting cameras in vehicles.
I know it would be a hassle, but, it would keep people like me from being charged for something that they didn't do.
To protect yourself, take a picture of your seat before you ride, and again after your ride. Now, if you did the damage, pay the fee. If you did not, file a dispute with your credit card company and the ride-sharing company. Working for you, I'm Call 6 Investigates, Kara Kenny.
And Uber tells us they updated their receipt requirement policy in May to help prevent vomit fraud, which includes confirming with the cleaning company to verify the charges. Uber provided following statement on vomit fraud. Participating in fraudulent activity of any kind is a clear violation of our community guidelines. We are constantly evaluating our processes and technology related to these claims and will take appropriate action whenever fraud may be detected. You can also protect yourself by looking at ratings for the drivers and making sure you understand the company's policies before you ride.
A deputy constable fired after a video of his encounter with two men goes viral. The man who recorded this reached out to RTV6 for help. He says he wants answers and for the department to be held accountable. Working for you, RTV6's Megan Santorum has more of the video and found out what your rights are if you're in a similar situation.
You don't have the right to run this. I got my right to do anything I want to do. I'm a police officer.
A cell phone video shows tense moments between a Lawrence Township deputy constable and two men in a car.
Get your driver's license out. You can't state
show me a driver's license. That's all.
The video was recorded Tuesday outside of the Nordstrom Rack on 82nd Street. The men in the car say they were racially profiled.
He watched the clerk bag everything for us, and he watched us push two carts out, so... he wasn't suspicious. He just wanted to act.
But you didn't pull me over. Out or I'll hit for a backup.
The men asked what they did wrong, but didn't really get an answer. So they kept recording the whole 17-minute ordeal.
If you want to prove something or if you want anything, like anything that I have no control over, as far as me having a conflict with somebody that has authority, I'm definitely... And that's somebody being a police officer, I'm definitely going to record it.
A few minutes later, an IMPD officer responded as backup and told the men they were free to go. Lawrence Township Constable Terry Burns would not identify the deputy in this video, but he tells us he has been fired for his actions. The men involved say that's not enough.
No constable called me. Nobody from Lawrence called me, apologized.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Now, we showed this video to a retired Indiana State Police trooper. James White says you are not required to show your ID if the deputy has no reasonable suspicion or probable cause. He says in this case, there was none. He also says the constable should have provided his badge number and name. White tells us this appears to be an instance of profiling.
Taking a live look outside, we are getting darker and darker earlier every day. The good news is we are warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. Kevin is here with a larger warm up in our future, possibly, because it got pretty nice today.
Absolutely. You never thought temperature at 40 in Indy could feel so good. Or how about this down in Bloomington? They made it to 43 degrees with still warmer temperatures on the way. But you'll need to be patient. It's not an overwhelming warm up, and it will take a while. But compared to where we've been over the last several days, remember it's been since Monday afternoon that temperatures climb above freezing. 42 in Seymour. We stay to the south. Bloomington, you're down to 38 now, 3 degrees cooler in Owen County. Spencer with that temperature, 32 in Marion. Other temperatures right at the freezing mark to the north. The veil of clouds pretty much taking over during the evening hours tonight. That will allow temperatures to slowly drop as they break apart a little bit. It'll still end up cold. We'll be in the teens to lower 20s tomorrow morning. Warmer weekend, warmest temperatures will arrive early next week. For the evening hours, temperatures, as we mentioned, falling into the mid-20s by 11 o'clock tonight. Not too windy. We'll wake up to this, upper teens to lower 20s. We'll talk about our warming trend and when our next chance for any rain or snow appears in the forecast coming up.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. Indiana reports a 4th vaping-related death.
This leads the RTV6 news feed.
The Indiana State Department of Health confirms an adult between the ages of 50 and 59 died from severe lung injuries caused by e-cigarette use. 3 vaping-related deaths had already been reported in the state, the first one on September 6th. Well, those 3 were all adults. So far in Indiana, there have been 57 probable cases of vaping-related lung illnesses and 55 confirmed cases, and again, 4 confirmed deaths.
Police in Southern California now say 2 teens are dead in yet another school shooting. Investigators say a student gunman shot 5 students and then himself this morning at a high school in Santa Clarita, California. The 3 surviving victims remain hospitalized. The shooter is in critical condition.
Tonight, a student is recovering from injuries after an incident involving a knife at Cascade Middle School in Hendricks County. The Hendricks County Sheriff's Office says 1 student pulled a knife and cut a 2nd student. It is unclear what led to the fight. The student who was cut received minor injuries and is expected to be okay. Cascade Middle School went on lockdown while deputies and school administrators investigated the situation.
Indiana State Police are identifying the man who was hit and killed while changing a tire on the side of I-465 near Washington Street on the west side. The crash happened early Wednesday morning. State police say the victim is 40-year-old Yves Thony Constant of Indianapolis. A pickup truck hit Constant. Officers do not believe drugs or alcohol played a role in the wreck.
State Attorney General Curtis Hill says that he will run for re-election next year. The Republican posted the announcement to YouTube and social media this morning. His announcement comes even though he faces potential discipline from the state Supreme Court. Hill is awaiting a ruling after a hearing last month on allegations that he inappropriately touched a state lawmaker and 3 female legislative aides at a bar last year.
RTV6 is working for you and getting answers. The Noblesville woman reached out asking us for help after noticing dozens of streetlights out along 146th Street just east of State Road 37. Now take a look at this GoPro video showing the view in the daytime. You can see lights all along the road, but at night you can see many of the lights are out. We counted at least 40 lights not working. Lee Abernathy says it's a safety concern.
It seems like if there are lights there, they ought to be working because it was clearly very hard to see the other night. Maybe the snow made it worse, I don't know, but the lights are there, but they're not functioning.
The streetlights are part of the Noblesville Now Capital Improvement Project, and we are supposed to be upgraded to new energy-efficient LED lights this year, but right now, funding is a factor. There's no definite timeline on improvement. A city spokesman says there is not a light bulb issue, but instead a wiring issue due to field mice and other critters chewing on the wiring.
One lawmaker wants more youth in the State House.
He wants to lower the age to run for state office. How low he wants to go and the reason why.
Well, over the last couple of years, the chill of November has meant a much different story for Mount Vernon Marauder football. This year, though, aiming for their first regional in decades. Mike Kirshner and the Sports Extra Spotlight coming up here at RTV6.
And I've got your Friday night football forecast. The rain down to the south tonight as you come into central Indiana. State divided. Clouds dominating northern half of the state. Skies clear to the south. How long will we stay dry? We'll answer that question coming up.
Trust me. This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Looking for a youth movement in the Indiana legislature, a state lawmaker is trying to allow younger Hoosiers to run for statewide office.
Currently, you must be 21 to run for the Indiana House of Representatives and 25 to run for Indiana Senate. Democratic Representative Chris Chung of Northwest Indiana wants to lower both of those requirements to 18 years old.
At age 26, Chung is the youngest representative in the state. He said he will soon introduce the resolution to change the state constitution.
Right now, we can fight and die for our country at 18. We can fight to protect freedom. Why is that bar so much different than sitting around and making laws and being a part of the lawmaking process? I think it's important to have that young perspective as well.
Well, there is a tough road ahead to change the age to run. The resolution has to pass the upcoming legislative session, then the 2021 session.
After that, it would be put up for a statewide vote at the next election. Kevin.
Well, let's talk about what we've put in the rearview mirror here. Snow, almost 7 inches in South Bend. Of course, most of that was at the beginning of the work week. Fort Wayne, over 3.5, and Indy just shy of 3 inches. It was that blanket of snow that set up the very cold temperatures that we've had. But we're pushing that out of the way. The core of the cold air has now moved out of the Great Lakes and Midwest, and you can see what's starting to filter in. You felt the difference today, I'm sure. During the day tomorrow, temperatures still upper 30s, and we'll wait for really warmer temperatures. And by really warmer, we're still below average. But you can see the trend here. Temperatures as we get to Monday, 43. The temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday, even warmer than that. You'll see those unveiled in a second. 38 in Edinburgh, 36 in Castleton. Martinsville's at 36. When we have the cloud cover like we do, at least from central Indiana north, that leads to fairly uniform temperatures, not much changes. Where the skies are clear, you'll have a much better shot at temperatures falling off a little more quickly this evening. 32 in Fort Wayne and Gary, temperatures still right at 40 or a little above when you kind of follow along the Ohio River. During the day tomorrow, temperatures once again upper 30s to around 40. We'll see a mixture of clouds and sunshine. We'll likely have to be patient. I think the clouds may be hanging in there a while in the morning, then breaking up and getting some afternoon sunshine in as we get to tomorrow night. A good night for Friday night football. They've been practicing all week in very cold temperatures. This won't seem so cold to them. 27 will be the temperature as many of the games are winding down, and there are fewer, and they're working on that goal of getting to Lucas Oil Stadium to play indoors in perfect conditions. Temperatures over the weekend. As we step to the weekend, 41 Saturday. I think we'll see more consistent sunshine for the first half of the weekend. As we get to Sunday, the clouds will increase. I'll mention Saturday, headed to any college football games going to South Bend or to Muncie. Ball State playing dry both locations with partly sunny skies and temperatures in the 30s. By noon on a Saturday, 34. Afternoon high temperature will hit 41 degrees, and that's pretty typical for this time of year, at least recently for us. Temperatures, as I told you, Tuesday and Wednesday start to make their move toward 50 degrees. We can look forward to that. We stay dry during that stretch. It's possible, just depending on the timing, we could see a couple of snowflakes and raindrops on the Tuesday, but there are no major weather systems there. There are no major Arctic outbreaks. And no huge warm-up either. We sit in the middle.
Look at that. We made it through that cold tunnel, though.
You got it.
Thanks, Kevin. The holidays are fast approaching, and we needed your help to make the season bright for kids around central Indiana. Our annual Six Shines on Toy Drive kicks off Friday, which is tomorrow, at the new Christmas Nights of Lights display at the State Fairgrounds.
A portion of the proceeds from the event on Friday will go to the toy drive. You can also bring a toy and get a discount on an Indy fuel ticket. We will share more ways you can donate as we get deeper into the holiday season. And Dave First joins us now with the look at sports.
Well, the Colts trying to snap their 2-game losing streak this Sunday against the Jags, but another round of Adam Vinatieri talk nonetheless. The future Hall of Famer talking to the media, first time since Frank Reich came out yesterday and said, quote-unquote, Adam is our kicker. Adam today on his misses this season and making up for it.
Anytime that it's not perfect, you want to make it perfect, but I don't worry about the decisions that are being made that I can't control one way or another. You know, there's injuries and there's things that happen, and us players just try to concern ourselves with, you know, do the best that we can and let everybody else deal with that.
So imagine the pressure he's got now on Sunday. Stay tuned for that. Good evening. Huge night tomorrow night. High school football, regional titles on the line, and a rare sight to see Mount Vernon there, but maybe it's the waiting game out there in the Sports Extra Spotlight. A season that began in 90-degree heat is cooled off to some 70 degrees less than that. But Mount Vernon football remains hot. Winners of their last 7.
You know, here we are. It's like 20 degrees out. You guys are still playing football. It's all good, right?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. We embrace this weather, and we're just trying to have fun.
Perhaps no one is having more fun than second-year head coach Mike Kirshner, the former Ben Davis coach, taking over a program with just 40 players a year ago. Next season, he expects that to grow to well over 100.
What was the biggest thing you wanted to really put your stamp on, you think?
Change a culture, a culture that we can do more than what they've ever done before, and establish not just a program for football, but a program for all sports. And we've been able to do that in the weight room. When I got here, there was about 25 kids lifting weights during the day. Now there's 250 lifting every day.
And these days, that does carry a lot of weight. The Marauders are set to appear in just their 5th regional game in program history.
The changes in the weight room have been, like, incredible.
So who's running the weight room right now?
Kirshner.
There you go.
Yes, sir. He's been amazing.
No more so than Rylan Cole. The junior has rushed for over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns, has another 233 receiving yards and 43 tackles and 6 picks on defense.
Now it's not like, dang, we have to go to the weight room, we have to lift. Now it's, I want to be in the weight room, I want to lift weights, I want to get bigger, faster, stronger, and I just want to do something great.
Different culture, you can feel it.
For sure. Oh, 100%.
So in a time of year where Mount Vernon is usually frozen out of the playoffs, the push continues, celebrating their first sectional title in 7 years and just maybe their first regional title ever.
I didn't think we would ever be in this place, so this is amazing.
You were, what, 10 years old last time this happened, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's growing here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's growing fast. Communities accepted us. They bought into what we're doing. The kids have bought in what we're doing, and we're having a lot of fun. Although it's really cold, we're having a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, though, tomorrow night won't be easy. They host Roncalli, the Rebels, looking for their 16th regional crown. And a reminder, IU football, you can see them live Saturday right here on RTV6 at ABC, high noon against 9th-ranked Penn State, part of a triple header. All 6 teams are ranked. The countdown is on. The news at 6 continues after this.
That's the benefit of Medicare from Anthem.
Oh, welcome back. Hey, another great wintry photo of the day. That's a snow-covered backyard in Noblesville.
Those chairs would normally be nice to sit on this time of year. It's just a little too cold and snowy right now. Thanks to Frank and Beth in Noblesville for sending us this great picture.
Yeah, you can email your photo of the day to news@WRTV.com. If we pick your photo, it will air on the news at 6.
It looks to me like there's a table of 4 now available. Actually, that's probably around the fire pit, right?
Yeah,
they fire
which would be a good thing to fire that up.
Let the snow melt off the chairs, and you can go from there. We're doing some real melting with temperatures above the freezing mark again during the day tomorrow. A mixture of clouds and sunshine. Noon tomorrow, 34. Afternoon, high temperature in the upper 30s. We'll see our warmest temperatures. It's always like a carrot down the end of the road, right? I mean, you see on the right-hand side of your screen, that's what we wait on. And even though that's still below average, you'll be peeling the clothes off. It will feel that good.
49 degrees there.
Something to look forward to.
Up next, looking forward to World News with David Muir here on RTV6.
And we'll be back here at 7. See you then.